In today's real estate market, a lot of times people find themselves having to sell a home and buy a home at the same time. This process can be a bit difficult depending on what the market conditions are. So there's a couple different ways, different approaches that you can do depending on your individual situation. Now, ideally, you would want to be able to buy your next home before you sell your current home, right? However, the only issue with that is you've got to be able to afford both mortgages. And if you're wanting the equity out of the home that you have now to put down on your next home, there lies an issue as well. So what are your options? Let's dive in. First option, you could sell your current home, find a buyer that's willing to lease that home back to you for a set amount of time while you find your next home. That's an option. Are there a lot of buyers out there that are going to be willing to lease that back to you for a certain amount of time? Your buyer pool is probably going to be smaller. Also, when you're going that route, you have to look at who is buying your home, what type of loan they're getting, because if they have, just say, an FHA loan, they have to be in that home within 60 days. So those are things that you have to keep in mind if you are trying to find a buyer that's willing to buy your house and lease it back to you for a certain amount of time. Now, you could also sell your home and then find a short-term lease to stay in. So you're basically going to be moving twice. You're going to move to that short-term rental, and then once you find a home, move to that new home. But then again, you're moving twice. And if you know anything about the rental market, it's just as scarce as the home buying process. I mean, there's not a lot of homes out there. There's not a lot of rentals out there. So that could be an issue. Now, if neither a lease back or a short-term rental work for you, we do have a last option, which is typically the option that most people go with. But before we cover that, I want to stress how important that pre-approval process is. Before you even get started on this journey, you want to make sure that you have already got your ducks in a row. We've got this journey planned out. You have the pre-approval in place. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, of course I can buy it. I bought this house. I know that I make this amount of money. Of course I think I could buy this, but there are things that you need to think about. So some of the things you need to think about when you think, okay, well, I can probably get that pre-approval, is you want to make sure you're able to get that pre-approval for the home that you want. You might be moving up and wanting to use that home equity to buy a bigger home. You want to make sure you qualify for that amount. So it's a couple things that can change without you really paying attention, because you've just been in the groove of, just living life the past couple of years. Everything's good. You pay your bills on time, whatever. But credit scores can fluctuate. Incomes can change. Job changes can affect things. Like the time that you're on the job, if there was a section of, a couple weeks that you didn't have a job, all of those things are taken into effect when you're getting pre-approved. So you want to keep that in mind, and also dealing with interest rates. So you may think that you can qualify for a certain amount because you feel like you can make that payment. However, the lender may think differently. So getting that pre-approval from the get-go is such a big thing. So as a buyer, even though you're a seller first, it's important to get that pre-approval knocked out. Make sure you're financially aligned with your goals, and especially if you're self-employed. That's a big one. You may have, went from working a W-2 job to self-employment. So those are definitely things to think about, and getting that pre-approval knocked out to begin with. Now, a moment ago, I was speaking about that third option that most people go with. This option is buying with a contingency. So this is, like I said, what most people go with. And with that being said, it can also be a little bit tricky. Some will not want to put their home on the market until they find what they're looking for, right? So you go and write an offer. and you're like, okay, I'm going to put my home on the market now. Well, that really depends on the market conditions if this will or will not work. If you make a contingent offer on a home sale that is not on the market, when your home's not on the market yet, you have to negotiate a first right of refusal. So this states how long you have to get your home on the market, how long you have to get it under contract, and the time period that you have if the seller negotiates another suitable offer for you to move forward and drop that contingency. So explain that a little bit further. If a first right of refusal, if you put an offer in, your home's not under contract yet, you have that first right of refusal, that basically gives them the opportunity to continue to market their home for another suitable offer, another non-contingent suitable offer. And if they do find one, then they give you a certain amount of time to either drop the contingency or move forward or back out of the contract. So that's why it's always best to list your home first, then go look and write an offer, because you are then putting out a stronger offer. They know that your house is on the market. If it's under contract, even better, because then now I know you're going to work very diligently to keep your home under contract and get it to the closing table, because you found your next dream home. So you have some super motivation behind it, which makes it definitely a stronger offer. So to ensure the smoothest transaction and getting yourself in the best position, you definitely don't want to be working with an agent that's knowledgeable and that can give you, guide you through to make this the smoothest transaction possible. And you need to be able to put your best foot forward from the beginning. So if you're looking for somebody, hit me up and let's start that journey.